book, and I think it seems like she has all these values for Keller Williams. Hey, he's here. The perfect boy.
Oh my God. Well, it wasn't because of my birthday, that's for sure, guys. I was coming, I was on the freeway, and then I noticed that my gauge was saying low air pressure. So I ended up exiting the freeway to go put air on the tire, and I noticed there was a nail on and there was a small leak. So I had no choice. The good thing is at the gas station, they also repair tires. So I had to patch the tire. And it's like, oh my God, you know, of all days to have this, it's like, you know, that's the unfortunate, you know, aspect of driving and commuting. You know, yesterday I got some metal thing that hit the side of my car. I'm so bummed about that as well. Then today I get a flat, and I'm over here rushing and while making calls, you know, I get a call from the agents. I'm texting Al, I need your help. Can you spearhead it while I jump on the call real quick? So thank you guys for being patient on this. And thank you, Al, for, you know, helping. So this is, again, why I have such an amazing agents, you know, because you guys will step in and navigate. So awesome. Right, so what were we talking about?
What we got out of the first 2 chapters.
And how easy it is to just almost read the whole book in one sitting.
Yeah. You know, what I got is basically the life story of Mo Anderson, you know, in the first couple of chapters. But what I like the mere fact, and that goes to us as well, right? You know, we started in one direction, and then we end up going in a different direction. You know, I've talked to you guys about it numerous times, you know, how I got into real estate. You know, it started with infomercials. I don't know if you guys remember that, you know, back in the 90s. You know, never did I ever think I was going to be a broker, a owner of a real estate company, have a team, run a successful real estate company. You know, that I never thought in my 20s and 30s, you know, and look where we're all at now. And it goes for, you know, all of you as well. And it goes more and defined for Mo Anderson, how a country girl in Oklahoma became the CEO of such a large organization as Keller Williams. So it really defines that, you know, if you plant the seed, you know, the destination is open to any and all of us. You know, at one point, you can become a team leader. You can be the owner of a real estate franchise, you know, if that's the direction you want to go. For me, you know, it started in 2008 when the real estate market crashed. You know, I had to revamp and adapt to the new norm. This was in 2008. For most of you guys, you probably don't remember the 2008 crash. I know Chamberlain was involved in that, you know, and most of us have been involved in the 2000 real estate crash, where properties were literally sitting on the market, and it was from here coming down. You know, I lost listings, I lost, you know, property during the 2008 market crash. And, you know, that's what led me now into leadership, because of all the trials and tribulations that I face. And believe me, what we're facing right now is really not what I remember in 2008. You know, 2008, it was tough. It was a lot of pressure. Even though I was not working in the leadership aspect of it, but I had my own real estate company. I had a real estate company in Santa Fe Springs. And how it all started was, you know, I was eager and ambitious, and I still am, but back in when I was in my 20s, you know, I got my real estate license at 24. Then at 26 or 27, I ended up getting my broker's license, because I had this big vision that I wanted to open up a real estate company with no experience, guys. I had no experience whatsoever. I just wanted to be a broker, owner of a real estate company. And the company was called Fast Track Realty back in the early 2000s, Fast Track Realty. And track was not like T-R-A-C-K, it was more of a T-R-A-C. And ironically, the address that I had in Santa Fe Springs was, and I still remember this vividly, guys, it was 14111 Freeway Drive. That was the address. So Freeway Drive, Fast Track, it just coincided together. And that was the dynamics of how I started my real estate company back in the early 2000s. Now, ironically, you know, it was just like, it made perfect sense at the time, you know. Fast Track Realty, 14111 Freeway Drive. I was on the 3rd floor, overlooking the 5 freeway, you know, just on the cusp of Orange County going into Anaheim. And, oh, thank you. Thank you. Rosie's here. She just gave me a bottle of wine. Thank you, Rosie. So I'm all set. I got a bunch of bottles of wine all over. So we're definitely going to have a party, guys.
It used to be coffee, Simon, in the morning, coffee.
Well, you know,
but we're changing to wine, I guess.
You know what's so funny is when I was the broker, you know, we used to have bagels with the broker. You know, so every once a month, I would get together with a group of agents here at the office, and we would talk about the legality of some certain stuff. You know, the lawsuits that would come in to the office, and how we would you know, handle those. So it was funny, and I think Kim started or has something going on similar before the COVID situation. Going back to, you know, a little bit of the history of where I'm at now, you know, I started with a dream, and, you know, I had 2 agents, including myself, so there was 3 of us, that they believed in my vision. That started a ripple effect because of the connections that I had in that area, because where I started was in Whittier. I worked for a Century 21 office. And the owner of the company gave me the opportunity, and how I got to meet the owner of the company was in college. That inspired me to explore his company. He had a vision, and I saw that vision. So for me, when I started the company, I had no indication, no experience whatsoever. I just had a dream, guys. That led to 25 associates working under my company because they saw the vision. And in the early 2000s, I mean, it was a phenomenal time. For most of you guys know, Chamberlain probably knows because he does also mortgage loans. You know, we had the subprime industry, right? Where everyone was able to qualify. If you had a FICO score, you know, we were able to qualify you, and we were able to tack on a second business as extra income to qualify people in the early 2000s. And if you remember, property started going up like in 2002, 2003, because in 2004, I bought my first apartment complex in the city of Ontario. And I used, you know, the knowledge in my real estate career and being an owner of a real estate company to supplement and buy the apartment complex in Ontario. And I got a steal on that property. It was such a good deal. I bought them for $375,000, 4 units in Ontario. And when I bought them with cash flow. The tenants were already paying very low rent on it, guys. And I bought it, and I wasn't making a big spread, but I was still making a decent cash flow, even with the higher mortgage payment, because the owner that I bought them from, he didn't have a mortgage anymore. He owned them for like 25 years. So when I ended up closing on the 4 unit, I was super excited, but at the same time, very, very nervous and scared. because I had no idea of what to do. Property management, owner, what do I do here, you know? But I had a vision and a belief that, you know, I was going to be okay with it. And, you know, in the beginning, there was, again, a lot of mistakes that I did, and, you know, frustration, you know, because I was not just the owner of these apartments, I was also managing them. I was literally out there cutting the grass too, guys. I would go once a week and go and cut the lawn. So I was doing all kinds of stuff. And you know that in investments, you don't want to do all that. But I thought I had to do all that stuff to save money, but more so, you know, to show presence to the tenant. Little by little, one of the tenants would leave because I ended up increasing the rents. So one would vacate, and then it gave me the opportunity for me to go in there and then clean it up, put new carpet, linoleum in the kitchens and the bathrooms, paint, and get it ready for the new tenant. Then, as I mentioned to you guys, in 2004 and 2005, it just kind of skyrocketed. I happened to be on the MLS, and I noticed that one of the owners, because it was a street of all these 4 units apartments there that were like cookie cutters, or are like cookie cutters. So there was one that went on sale and closed for 3 times that what I bought it. It was like $800 and something thousand. Same square footage, same lot size. It was 2 or 3 buildings to the left of me. So that just like, what? I bought them for this, and he sold it for this. Maybe I should sell these units. And I made the biggest mistake, guys. I put it on the market, and immediately I got it. I got an offer on the property. I ended up selling the property. Biggest mistake that I did was give those units. Okay. I had already put 3 new tenants in place, solid tenants. I still have one original tenant from the previous owner, but I made the biggest mistake. And to this day, I still think, you know, gosh, I should have kept them because they probably would have been paid off by now, or close enough. But, you know, I was thinking of the bigger picture, more money, more capital. I can go and do more investment properties. That was my mind at that time, guys. And I'm not thinking. What I know now would probably tell the younger Simon, hold on to it, sacrifice, get it down, get more string of passive income, and hold on to it for retirement purposes. But my ego was like going 100 miles, thought, you know what, properties are going up. Never did I know that 2008 was going to be the crisis that everything kind of snapped. And when I sold, then I started buying, you know, these low, cheap properties that were fixers, and I started flipping properties with some of the capital and still doing real estate. My agents were, you know, closing deals. So it was a phenomenal time for me. You know, I ended up buying, at the time, what I thought was my dream home in La Habra Heights. I had a beautiful house in La Habra Heights. On a clear, sunny morning, I can see Catalina Island because I lived up in the hills. I had a circular driveway. I had an acre property. It would go down into the ravine where my property, very secluded in La Habra Heights, if you guys know where La Habra Heights is. And I was like living the dream. You know, I thought, cool, you know what? I had a wife, I had 2 stepdaughters. I had all the toys that I wanted. I was, you know, a young guy, and I was also in law enforcement as well. So it was a combination of, you know, being a cop, you know, owning a real estate company, having real estate agents and everything. I mean, was I under a lot of pressure? Yeah, I was under a lot of pressure, but it was the pressure that I was able to handle at the time, you know, and deal with it. So to me, what we're dealing with right now, guys, is nothing. It's nothing for me. You know, it's all how you perceive things and how you put everything in place. Because like Al and like Gary and most of us, you know, they're movers and shakers. They're closing deals left and right. It's how you perceive everything will ultimately alter your position. And for me, the book really resonates a lot because of the story of Mo Anderson, a country girl in Oklahoma. I think it was Oklahoma. That you know, her parents were farmers. You know, that they didn't even own the land; they were renting the land, and they were harvesting the goods to sell. Now, it really defines our position because we all have a story to write, guys. Just like Mo Anderson, you know, Al has a story to share with us. Lee has a story to share. Sue and Nick. Jeremy, Rosie, Patricia, Chamberlain, you know, we all have a story to share, guys, you know, that defines, because I mean, I can go even further down into my childhood experiences and it wasn't good. I grew up in an abusive relationship with my parents. It was my mother and my stepfather, my sister's father, you know, and that's a different story and we'll share it, but you know, that's the beauty of what defines us, guys, and where we're at right now. And this is why I humble myself every single day, you know, because we all have a story to share. Any thoughts, guys?
Out of the two chapters, I made a note on out of page 14, and is that her mother identified the talent and the potential she had. And it's the second paragraph that I encourage everybody to read. She said you need to enroll in every committee and participate, volunteer to be the chairman and so forth. And I gave her a lot of confidence that she had the potential, and eventually she did, and many other things, but she got the encouragement and security from her parents that believed in her, and she developed a dream to be a music teacher and to do great things, and she did eventually. But she ended up gaining confidence because of the faith that her parents had and told her constantly forever. And of course, she got help, but she believed mainly in herself.
Right. Absolutely. One thing that I got was on page 5. You know, the magic is in the little things, the daily actions you take, and the relationships you make. I mean, that's a very powerful little statement there, because again, we are in the relationship, right? The connections and the little things that we do can go a long way. But it's the little things that you do progression every single day. Let's go back to March, second week of March, okay, when all this chaos started. And now go back, you know, now moving forward 3 months of where we're at right now. We were able to adapt and ultimately, you know, shift in our business. And we can make excuses, or we can use this as an opportunity, okay? An opportunity to go out there and do more. For most of us now remotely, you know, we can do stuff. We can have Zoom calls, you know, never did I ever thought we would be having these type of sessions. Go back in February when we were having our Mastermind book club here in the training room. And now we're having it here on a Zoom call. So now we have the best of both worlds. Now the office is open. You guys can come in. And I'm eager to see each and every one. I know I've seen Al, I've seen Sue. I haven't seen Lee in the office. Rosie is here in the office. Chamberlain is one of our newest agents. He's a broker associate, by the way. And, you know, Patricia as well, I've seen. So yeah, you know, there's still, believe it or not, there's real estate companies that are still not officially open, you know, and it can be many variables. But the other thing that I like about the book is that, you know, Mo Anderson talks about God, okay? and the spiritual aspects of her beliefs. Now, I don't know what everyone's beliefs are, you know, but I do believe in God and Jesus Christ. But it has nothing to do with it. It's just basically your beliefs, you know, your affirmations. The other avenue that I like about this book and why I wanted to spearhead this one is really the history of Mo Anderson. About 3 years ago, I was out in mega camp out in Austin, Texas. And it was a Saturday, no, correction, it was a Wednesday or Thursday evening after the event with Gary Keller. And everyone was getting together at one of the restaurants that had a live band playing. And I see on the far left side of me a crowd of people. And I didn't know what was going on, if there was an event going on or something, but I noticed that crowd kept coming closer and closer to me. And then I see what the fiasco was. Everyone was surrounding Mo Anderson. Mo Anderson was there that evening. She had a posse of security around her. And I was like taken back because I've never seen Mo Anderson live and in person, but that glimpse her coming my direction. And as she was coming, we made eye contact and she came directly to me to introduce herself to me. And I have a photo with her. And the first thing that came out of Mo Anderson's mouth was, "Boy, you have such a wonderful smile." That's the first thing that came out of Mo Anderson. And I said, "Well, thank you, Mo." I asked her if it's okay to take a photo with her. And she said, "Darling, that's perfectly fine." And we were like in an incline, so she was a little struggling to try to get at her position. But I wanted to, be cognizant of the surrounding because she had her posse of security and they were kind of looking at me. But I didn't want to get too close to Mo as I was trying to do a selfie, a photo. No, I stand corrected. It was Melanie Haynes. She's the one that took the photo, now that I remember. And guess what Mo Anderson did? She literally got right next to me, cheek to cheek. I got to find the photo, but I have that photo with Mo Anderson. And I was like taken back that, you know, she felt that comfortable and that connection with me. And to this day, I share that. And when I find it, I'm gonna show you guys that I'm not, bluffing on that. I definitely have a photo with Mo Anderson, close up, cheek to cheek. She's a phenomenal, inspirational, person, and her philosophy and her beliefs is incredible. And this is the reason she was, designated as the CEO of such a phenomenal real estate organization as we know, Keller Williams Realty. So, yeah, awesome stuff. Anything else you'd like to share, guys? So let's talk about chapter 2, and it says following your dreams, right? Any takeaways from chapter 2?
Can we arrange to visit her house, her dream house? Stone Mill? The way she describes it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I still have that dream. Everybody, I still have my dream house. Still on my mind. I just have to do it.
I as I mentioned earlier, guys, and thank you so much for sharing. I was able, and I humble myself because I had to short sell that beautiful house that I thought it was my dream house at the time. And I humbled myself was because I knew then what I wanted my house to look like. I liked the canyons. I like the surroundings of trees and able to, because I like to hike. And this is the reason in Chino Hills, I live real close to the trails up in the Chino Hills canyons. And I just like the nature. And ironically, my motivation when I was living in Chino Hills were my pets. They were my motivation. Well, you're saying, well, Simon, how can your pets be your motivation? I'll explain. I have a pit bull boxer. Her name is Punchy. She's 14. She's 14 years old now. We have shared custody of the dogs, me and my ex-wife. The dogs spend 95% of the time with her because of the larger home and area that she lives. But we share custody, and I've been so bombarded and super busy. Even on the weekends, I haven't had time to pick up the dogs. But my pets were my motivation when I was still married and living in Chino Hills. Why? Is because the pit bull boxer, and also we have a Yorkie, a little teacup Yorkie. His name is Twinkie boy. He looked like a little Twinkie, okay? But he's such an amazing little dog. He's about 5-6 pounds. Literally, I can carry him on my palm of my hand, but such an amazing dog. So every morning, you know, the little guy would jump on my chest, and it was ironically almost the same time every morning, guys. Around 5:30, 5:45, the dogs knew instantly it's time for a walk. So the little guy would jump on my chest. So Twinkie was my alarm clock, basically. He would jump on my chest, he would look at me, and it's like, all right, Dad, it's time to go. So that was my alarm to get my butt up and then hit the trails, because we had a hiking trail that was about three miles. It started at the top and then would go down the ravine, and then I would literally have to go up and then, you know, ultimately to the top and come right back. So I would get the dogs ready. I would put on my jogging stuff, and then even though it was two streets up to the top, because the multi-million-dollar homes were above me. Unfortunately, I didn't have the multi-million-dollar home anymore. So I lived just below the cusp of it, you know, the cookie cutter homes. And then we have these mega mansions on the very top. So that was an inspiration to me. And there was one particular house that I was like, God, this is my dream home, because I like the Spanish homes. You know, they have so much character to them. You know, the uniqueness from the 30s and early 20s and 30s. I just love those old Spanish homes. They just have so much character. So there's one particular home, even though it wasn't built in the 30s, but they portrayed it, you know, to look like an early era home. So I would literally take pictures of the house in hopes that the neighbors wouldn't see, like, what the heck is this guy taking photos? But that was like my vision board, because that's what I wanted, a house like that. So every time I would go up to the canyons, I would always dream about, you know, having that house that I, you know, wanted. The dogs, as I mentioned, were the inspiration for me to get up and get in the best condition, you know, to start the day, because, you know, once you run and you do any physical activity, you know, your heart rate starts. The momentum of the body starts, the flow of the blood starts, you know, lubricating the entire organs, and also the joints, everything, you know. You start off with stretching, and, you know, then I start my momentum of walking, and eventually walking would literally be jogging. And I would do that 6 times out of the week. I would rest one day out of the week, and 6 times I would do 3 miles. So technically, I was doing about 18 miles every week. But man, did I have the energy? Was I in good shape? I would come to the office, and I was still drenched in sweat because, you know, the metabolism, my heart rate was still going up. But it felt good because I had a clear, concise frame of mind. But, you know, it feels good. It feels good to exercise. And, you know, even through all that, you know, my pet Punchy, you know, she's gone through so much. And, you know, I share all this is because we all have a story to tell, right? We all have a story. The book really defines some of the stuff and why, you know, the foundation, excuse me, not the foundation, but the lessons that we learn from our past, right? And ultimately open up the avenues to what we're at now and what we want in the future, right? Because we all are believers and dreamers, right? We all want to excel in everything we do. I know for a fact I want to excel at everything I do. I know Al does too, and the rest of us, you know, we all excel at what we want to do and taking that initiative and that approach. But to follow your dreams, guys, that's the ultimate goal. You know, you got to continue following your dreams every single day because we all have our dreams and our ambitions, okay? We all have a list of items we want to do, and it can be many variables, many things. That's not necessarily material-wise. It can be health-wise, you know, eating better, you know, spending more time with the family, whatever the case may be. You know, we have a list of items that we still need to accomplish, okay? I know for a fact I do. I still have a laundry of things I want to accomplish. And one of them is to be a pilot, okay? That's always been my ultimate dream, guys, as a kid. And it sucks because, you know, I'm 47, what is it? Today is what, Wednesday? So I'm 47, 3 days already, because my birthday was on the 21st on Sunday. So I'm 3
Hi,
days
Simon.
in. Yes.
You are very young. Trust me.
Baby, Simon.
Everything is in your mind.
And remember,
Only a number.
he was nominated the most interesting man in the world.
Oh my God.
Right? Yeah.
I appreciate that, guys.
Simon, everything is relative, you know? An
Yeah.
85-year-old man will say you are so young. And then a 20 will say he's so old. Everything is relative.
Absolutely.
So you can still do it.
Simon, you really have about 40 years to play with. Just figure 87,
Yes,
it's easy to do.
exactly.
You have 40 years. You're so lucky.
You know, I'm definitely blessed, especially to surround myself with wonderful people like yourself, guys. You know, you guys are my motivation and my encouragement. You and you know, and the rest of the company. You know, and I'm blessed to say that, you know, because in leadership, it's definitely an eye opener. It's never easy to be in leadership because you are basically critiqued at every angle, every little movement that I do, everything I say, every reaction. You know, I'm like in a glass, and you definitely have to have a tough skin. You know, if what I know now, you know, I knew this prior to taking the role, I would have said like, oh gosh, you know, not just the COVID, you know, situation. I have new OPs. I lost, you know, the Millmans to Compass. I lost Josh to Compass, you know, and I lost some other agents. But for me, it's not about the people that have left. You know, I wish them all the very best success, but it's the ability to restructure, the ability to get the core of the people, and we're building dynamics here. You know, I'm blessed to say that we got some phenomenal stuff to restructure our ALC, and you're looking at one of them as we speak. Al has been gracious enough to step up and help me see the vision, and he's going to be part of our ALC. You know, so I'm blessed to say that, and I'm super excited to announce tomorrow at our ALC meeting, you know, the introduction of a few new members to the ALC. It's all about structure. It's all about restructuring, I should say. and bringing the key players. You know, we've been blessed to bring some phenomenal people. I'm working diligently to bring some mega agents. I got a mega agent interview tomorrow, who's thinking of doing an expansion team. So there's just so much going on that I'm so excited, you know. So I don't look at it in a bad way. I look at it as a way of restructuring the organization and, you know, building the core of what we have, the dynamics of what we have. So I'm really happy about that. But going back to what I was saying about being a pilot, you know, that was really my number one thing that I wanted to do, guys. You know, even before being a police officer, that was not my goal. I wanted to be a pilot. And where it all started, guys, it started from the movie Top Gun. I don't know if you guys remember Top Gun with Tom Cruise.
Cruise. Yeah, of course.
Oh, that movie is like, that's what I want to do. I want to be an aviator, fly these jet planes. Unfortunately, my grades were not that good, and unfortunately, I had to go in a different direction. But it is what it is. You know, it happens, and you know, but I still have that dream, and my dream now is not to fly an airline. I wanted to fly the corporate jets, the small, you know, Citations or the Lear jets, and just travel and be able to get from one place to another place, you know, instantly. And ironically, I was on a call yesterday on a recruiting appointment yesterday afternoon, and it's a team, a husband and wife. And I was talking to the wife, and then transition and talking to the husband. And she goes, well, I'm writing this offer, talk to my husband. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't know that the husband had a real estate license until she started telling me it's them both, because I was just doing, you know, my calls. So we started talking, and he started telling me, yeah, I got to fly out tomorrow. And that's what opened up the dialogue and said, oh, okay. So where are you heading out tomorrow? She goes, well, I'm heading to Central America. I think he was going to Guatemala. And I said, oh, so what takes you to Guatemala? Yeah, I have this CEO that we fly a lot down to Central America. I said, CEO, oh, okay. So do you work for, you know, this company? He goes, well, I fly the plane. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I'm a captain. And I do that on the side. I've been flying for 30 years. And I was taken back, and I said, wait, what? You're telling me that you're a pilot, you fly? Yeah. He goes, I fly the Citation 450, which is a small, well, medium-sized jet plane. And I started getting goosebumps. I go, what? So I was so fascinated, and I started telling them the story. And I says, well, and then I started being a little bit negative about it. And I said, well, you know what? I'm 47 now. I don't know. He goes, you know what, Simon? It's never too late. If you have a dream, you go after your dream. You know, don't look at it as an obstacle and give up on it. If that was your passion, if that was what you wanted to do, why limit yourself? The sky is the limit, is what he told me.
Before you're 50, you have to do it.
Yeah, right. So that's 3 years, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. So that gave me the motivation to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I'm super excited, and you know, I'm gonna be talking to him again on Monday. I'm gonna try to bring them into the office as a team. But I'm super excited at the mere fact that he's a pilot and he travels throughout the world. Now, he doesn't do it really, he does it, he wants to focus on real estate, and the beauty is that he can have a balance of both. He can do real estate with his wife, but he can also on a given moment, 2-3 times out of the month fly for extra money. And the beauty in the position is his ratings, his experience of 30 years of flying has given him the opportunity to be able to balance life, have a family, have two careers, and do what he loves. And he goes, I have a passion for flying. Just like people love to go jog, people like to go ride bikes, people like to work out, people like to travel. I get a high, he says, on flying. The moment I jump on that cockpit, start, turning on the instrument panels, hearing the jet engines start spinning, and getting the plane prepped and ready to fly, it's such a high. For me, the high is the takeoffs and landings, and just being up at 30, 40,000 feet above Earth and be able to get from one destination to another in hours instead of days. And he was a motivation for me yesterday that really, defined that we can continue achieving our goals and our dreams, because that's still one of my bucket lists. One of my bucket lists is to become a pilot, be able to fly and do it as a passion. And eventually maybe I have the fortunate to buy a plane and I say, you know what? I'm going to go to Europe today, but I'm going to fly to Europe and I'm going to be the pilot to fly. There's so many new technology planes now that you don't need to have a first officer. You can fly them solo as long as you have your destination plans to fill and then be able to get from one point to another. It's phenomenal, guys. And that's just one of my bucket things that I want to do, guys. And like Mo was indicating, and I'm so eager and so excited to be reading this book because I know it's going to go deeper into her roots, from a young age to ultimately, a successful CEO of this amazing organization. So, any thoughts on anything I said, guys? Anything you guys like to share?
Yes, please. Let's rent a plane when you're ready.
Absolutely.
Now you're on the spot.
Yeah, I love it.
You don't have to own one. We'll rent one.
Yeah. I'll be able to, once I get all my ratings, because my goal is to get a commercial license instrument and then be able to fly these small jet planes, guys. I mean, that's my thing. And we actually have in our office a first officer. He works for Delta. And many years ago, he invited me to the Torrance Airport. He went to Compton Airport because he actually does his little hours there because he used to be a flight instructor. Picked up a plane, came to Torrance, and then in Torrance picked me up, and he took me up, the peninsula here in the South Bay, and he actually gave me the opportunity to fly, be the pilot of command on a small, I can't remember what type. I think it was like a Hawk plane, but it was the coolest thing. And he started doing all these maneuvers, and I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride, intense. I was scared because I'm scared of heights. But it was
right.
And then when he said, Simon, you're what they call PIC, PIC, pilot in command. So I take control of the plane, and now I'm in the peninsula over the Pacific Ocean. I can see Catalina to the right. I can see Palos Verdes Estate, the Trump, Aranea, and I'm at around 5,000 to 6,000 feet above sea level, and I'm just flying the plane and navigating, going through San Pedro, and ultimately allowing me to fly into as we approach back to Torrance. And then that's when he goes, I got to take it from here. I go, I want to land the plane, but you're not certified yet to do so. But it was such a cool feeling to do so. And most of you guys know that in 2006, I started doing my flight training. I went to ground school, completed my ground school. I have my certificate, and I have about 2 hours of flight time. But then, you know, as I mentioned, in that time in '06, real estate was booming. I had a successful real estate company. I had a beautiful home. I had just sold those apartment units, which I kicked myself in the rear for selling. And, you know, I said, well, I have money to go into fly school, get my ratings and start the momentum. And then that completely stopped in '07 and '08. And unfortunately, I had to stop. And since that time, I have not been able to, you know, go back. But yesterday was a motivation for me and an opportunity for me to realize, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. We have our dreams. Stick to your dreams, whatever those dreams are, and go after it. So I'm definitely going to go after it. You know, whatever my next chapter is, you know, that's one of my bucket lists that I'm going to say, I'm going to take all of you guys.
You're ahead of the game, so do it by the time you're 49.
Okay. I sure will. I sure will. But, you know, again, I am very grateful and very humble, you know, for what I have and the ability to, you know, spearhead this phenomenal company here in Torrance with phenomenal agents like yourself, guys. And, you know, just keep striving for excellence. You know, we'll all make mistakes. We'll have challenges, you know, that's part of life, you know, and then we'll have some very difficult challenges, you know. Just about 2 weeks ago, not this past Sunday, but the following Sunday, my godmother passed away. She had a massive heart attack. That Friday, she was airlifted to the hospital, and she was in a coma Saturday, and then ultimately Sunday they had to pull the plug. There was no way she was going to survive. So you know, and the reason I want to share this is because life is obviously too short, right? Life is short. We're never promised tomorrow. You got to live life to the fullest, and no regrets whatsoever. You know, with all the obstacles that we all hit, financial, business, you know, family, health. I mean, there's going to be, but you got to be positive, guys. It's all about the vibe of being positive, and you know, and some of the challenges, you know, like Maureen Lee is a prime example. She's fighting colon cancer, but her spirit is high. Her mental mind is high, and she's such a phenomenal individual that, you know, she's an inspiration to me and to a lot of people, because again, you know, you can be discouraged, you can fall into depression, and that'll eat you up even before cancer does. This is why the mind is something that you definitely have to protect. You know, I've shared with you my father's experience of how it melted him in the early 80s, that he had a nervous breakdown. He wanted to commit suicide. I mean, there's so many things that can happen to us. So take care of your mind, guys. That's the one thing. You know, the mind is like a muscle. The brain is like a muscle. You know, you got to work on it. You got to consistently, you know, do activities that help fuel the mind with positive things, you know, because of all the things that we're dealing with on a daily basis, you know, we can go bananas, you know, and that's the last thing that you don't want, is to, you know, get into that rhythm and mode of it, guys. So, you know, think positive, be positive, stay dedicated, stay focused on your business, guys, and achieve excellence, you know. So any final thoughts, guys, before we cut loose?
Simon, somewhere along the line, maybe we have a in-person meeting for a book, maybe the next book by then.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should start suggesting what's the next book, because this one is going to be very quick.
Yeah.
And I suggest that we cover at least 3 chapters, maybe 4.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
Whatever it is, but they're very short chapters.
Well, let's do this. Would you guys? Who would like to spearhead next week? Anyone? I'm gonna have Al. Al, would you spearhead the next couple chapters?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could do the following.
let's all have a rotation on it so that way we can get through it. But eventually what I'd like to do, guys, is be back in the office, you know, at 9 o'clock and doing the book club here. Obviously we're gonna practice safe distance, you know, and all that good stuff, you know, because we're a small group. I think we should be okay. But I like to get the energy back in the office and, you know, getting that momentum like we used to before COVID. Fair enough?
Sounds good.
All right, guys. All right, so let's just start with two chapters, guys. Let's just do 2 chapters. So Al will spearhead next week.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you read the 2 chapters, which will be chapters 3 and 4. And I'm looking forward to it, guys. There was something else I wanted. Michelle Brown could not make it today because she was being installed for the, what was it that she was being installed for? I think at the, not the board, but the Chamber of Commerce. That's why she wasn't able to be on the call today. So if you do get a chance to talk to her, you know, just congratulate her on being part of the board. I think she's part of the board members for the chamber. So, all right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. I appreciate you all. Remember, we have a sales meeting today at noon. I have a guest speaker, Miss Carol Kwan from the LA County Assessors. She's going to be providing you all these, you know, regulations regarding property taxes, the exemptions, you know, adding children, I think. I mean, there's just so much. And she'll open it up for Q&A. So love to see you all on the 12 o'clock call today, guys. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.